So I'm playing Hades 2, and you need to see my first clear on Typhon, which should not have worked. This fight is on a knife's edge for me, and you'll see that there are a few boons without which I would have surely died. But before we get into all that, just to set the stage a bit, if you're not familiar with Hades or Hades 2, this is a roguelite game set in Greek mythology. The rogue part means that when you die, you go all the way back to the start. It's permadeath. And you're meant to die a bunch of times, it's part of the story. And the light part means that between runs, there are progression mechanics that help you get stronger for your next run. And within the run itself, the various Olympian gods bless you with their boons to help you power up. This sets up a system where, even though you're repeating roughly the same content, each run is kept fresh by the randomization of the boons from which you can choose, which means you never get the same build twice. As far as roguelites go, Hades 2 is actually unique in that there are 2 runs for you to go on. And Typhon here is the final boss of the surface run, in which you fight your way all the way to the top of Mount Olympus, which has been besieged by the father of all monsters, Typhon. Now, as we get into this, do keep in mind this is only the second time I'm seeing this boss, so I'm going to take a ton of damage. Speaking of which, it's time to look at the first boon I want to highlight. I'm down to 25 health here. It's not quite as dire as it looks, since I do have 2 Death Defiance charges over here, where each one gives me another chance after I die, albeit with very little health. Those come from the meta progression that happens in between runs. Anyways, what I wanted to highlight was Blood Spree, a boon from Ares, god of war. It makes me heal for 1 HP each time I hit the boss when my health is below 40, which it now is. I remember being unsure about taking this boon because I recalled from our first encounter that Typhon hits very hard, oftentimes in excess of 40 damage, in which case this is useless. But we'll see this actually saves my life. Note the +1s coming up there, healing me back up to 40. And now we've made it to the part where Zeus comes in to help us out. I would later come to learn this is roughly the halfway point through the fight, I guess. It leaves Typhon vulnerable here, so you're free to just wail on him for a little bit, and I think there's some kind of damage multiplier here too. As a side note, I'm not sure why they chose to hide his health bar, unlike all the other bosses in the game. Your character makes a comment on it every time you come into this fight, like, how dare you hide your life force from me, or something, I don't know. But anyway, we're about to use our first Death Defiance here. Now I'm back with 127 HP, that's pretty nice. Next up we're going to talk about Hex, which is a new mechanic for Hades 2. Unlike most boons, Hex is not just a buff to your existing abilities, it gives you a whole new ability to use. In this case I've chosen Total Eclipse, which blasts a large area on the ground for 1000 damage 4 seconds after I put it down. In addition, you can also find enhancements to this ability throughout your run. In this case I picked up Eminence, which gives me a shield for 50 damage during the 4 seconds after I place the circle on the ground, but before the damage comes down. On my health bar, you can now see the little gray area with a 50 next to it, and the little shield with a moon on it that represents the 50 shields. I was skeptical about taking this one too, because it's only a shield for 4 random seconds periodically, so what are the odds I actually get hit during that time in a way that matters? It didn't really end up mattering just now, nor did it the last 2 or 3 times that I used the ability, so far it looks like it's panning out the way I had feared. Now the ability's ready to use again, I'm throwing it down on top of him. But look at this, I get hit for 40 damage immediately after gaining the shield for 50. So now I've only got 10 shields left, but it saved me a hit for 40 there, which as we'll see later, really does save my life.
My strikes are getting through.
I just took a fat hit there for 54 damage, and then 35 right after that, bringing me down to 39 HP. Remember how that shield saved me a hit for 40, and I just ended up with 39? So I would be dead right now if I hadn't had that shield. It does buy me only 1 extra hit as I use my last Death's Defiance here. And now that's it, I have 101 HP to finish the fight, and I just lost 35 while I was talking. At this point it's not looking too great. I get hit again for 36, putting me down to 30. But then look at this, the shield comes in clutch again. It absorbs another hit for 40, and this time I only have 31 HP, which means it directly saved my life right here. And I have no more Death Defiances, so if I die here, that's it, that's the end. Now remember that I was just at 31 HP, but my health is going up very slowly, back up to 40, thanks to Blood Spree that we looked at earlier. Once again, I clutch dodge these lasers. I can't believe I did that twice in this attempt. That was crazy. And now here is Blood Spree's moment to shine. I had 30 HP, I healed back up to 40 thanks to Blood Spree, and now I get hit for 36, meaning that I would be dead if I hadn't healed those 10 points just now. Fight's not over yet, but I do have 4 HP to work with, and 1's all you need, right? This is the part where having the boss's health bar really would have been helpful, so I knew if I was close or not. As it would turn out, I was, and take a look at this. You can see the 1260 come in from the total eclipse damage. It's a little bit higher than the 1000 thanks to buffs or something, but that actually is the final blow that gives me the win here. Anyway, I just wanted to highlight how important the choices that you make in this game can be. These 2 boons were choices that I was really skeptical of when I was making them, but if I had chosen either one differently, I would not have beaten Typhon this run. Of course, both of these were defensive choices, and as I would learn later, just having an absolute ton of damage actually is usually better. My very next kill on Typhon, which we're looking at now, wasn't even close because I had so much damage that I finished the fight in about half the time, so I had half as many opportunities to take damage. I'm sure there's some math you could do to figure out whether enhancing your DPS or enhancing your longevity gives you a better shot at winning, but let's call that a topic for another video. In the meantime, let's tell Odysseus about our great victory.
So, how did you outsmart him?
Outsmart him? All I could do was keep hitting him with all my might. It helped that Lord Zeus also struck him hard with lightning bolts. Eventually it worked, and Typhon fell.
Well, your battle prowess may be unsurpassed, but your ability to weave a yarn is not quite there. When next you overcome the father of all monsters, do make of it a much more rousing tale, would you?
No promises.